Well, folks, I'm over here at Dobbs, and they've got the ASV over here trying to fix this front axle for me. And it looks, well, there's the old axle right there. This is all the parts from the original bearing or caster wheel. So this is the wheel bearing that goes on the shaft. This is the front one, and this is what the shaft is supposed to look like, and this is all the parts that are inside that have been fused to this shaft here. And you can see it's just, so they had to bang that out of there, and so I got a whole new front axle anyway, so that really didn't matter getting all banged up. But that's what that's supposed to look like, and that's what that all just really got. Jeez, insane. So apparently, well, let's see what we got in here in our. They had to bang that axle out of there pretty good apparently. Let's see, what does that look like in there? That don't look too bad. You guys see that? Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yeah, that don't look too bad. So apparently, this one right here is looking pretty dry, they said. And we may have to get a new one of these too on the front side. So we'll take a look at that. Make sure all these are good. That one's a little chunky, but not too bad. The rest of them don't look too bad. Let's check them. And then we're gonna check all the other ones and see how they looked. Someone has welded that nut on there. John, did you do that? Well, that might be John's handiwork right there. That's got water in it. It still looks alright. It's still turning. That back wheel right back there is pretty chunky. Oh. I may go ahead and replace that wheel. I'll order another wheel. And they were saying this wheel needed a replacement, and it's pretty chunky. I'm surprised these front wheels are this bad. Usually the front don't take as much damage as the ones in the back, but they're a little chunky. Yeah, we need to get a new wheel. How's it going, sir?
All right, how you doing?
Pretty good. Well, the one for this thing. Well, I guess while we're here, we'll take a look around the yard, see if they got anything interesting. That is a big Robotech claw right there, 2 of them. They look about the same size. Yeah. This is the same people that make, I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Robotech is the same people that make the grapple that Cotton Top 3 uses for doing his tree work that he runs on his Kubota 57. Well, that's a big grapple right there. Got a nice Harley rake right here too from, I think, Erskine. I think that's how you pronounce it. Erskine Attachments. That's a big Harley rake. That drum on that thing's huge. That is a big drum. They have got a ton of stuff out here in the yard. I'm waiting on the parts people from CC to call me back because we got to order some more parts. So I'm gonna walk around for a minute, see if they got anything interesting. Oh, this 26 right here has seen some better days. He's a little rough. There's the new 650P dozer. That's brand new. This little 26 has seen some better days. But this guy right here has barely got the paint scratched off of her. Nice dozer. There's the parts, people. Let's see what we can order. Let's see if this is the 135G or is this the new P model. Oh, this is the new 135P. The thing about this is, I looked at the specs. They have not really upgraded anything really new. As far as it doesn't have any more power or hydraulic power compared to the old 135G. So I don't really know what the big upgrade is from the 135G to the 135P. The only reason I haven't really considered getting the John Deere, because this is the kind of size machine that I'm looking to get, is like the that 13, 14, 15 ton with a zero tail. But the John Deere is a little bit on the hydraulic flow, a little bit less power. I think it has 2 pumps that do 28 gallons a minute. If you compare that to the Hyundai 145, that one's at like 2 pumps at like 33 or 34 gallons a minute. When you're running a mulcher off one of these, which is mostly what I would be doing, I think that makes a big difference. So that's the reason I haven't quite considered the Deere. This one, somebody's used this one. It's got a little wear and tear on it. I don't know if it was a rental or what. I hate these big ass slag yard they've got out here. Clean, still pretty clean though. Whoever had it, was whatever they were doing with it, they were taking pretty good care of it. It's got a little wear and tear, but I do like this machine overall though. It's, when I ran that one that John had, even though it didn't have the pattern changer on it. Let's see if this one's got a pattern changer. I couldn't believe that a John Deere has their pattern changers as an optional equipment. I'm like, it's 2024, people. I don't know if I can get that. I think, let's see if that opens. Yeah, there we go. Pattern changer should be like right there somewhere. Yeah, it's supposed to be behind that door. I don't even know if this one's got one, unless it's in the computer. It could be. I don't know. But anyway, that one that John had did not have a pattern changer on it. It was like a brand new machine. And I was like, that's crap. I mean, that Kobelco he's got is an older machine. It's like a 2013 or 14. It's got a pattern changer on it. Like, but John Deere, well, I guess that was still a Hitachi machine, was like the pattern changer was optional from the factory. And I was like, that's dumb. So, because I run backhoe controls, so, but still a nice machine. I really do. When I ran it a little bit, it was very fast and very smooth. John really liked it. He really did like that John Deere 135. Got the rubber tracks, didn't have to worry about putting down mats if you're working in a urban area. So we'll see. We'll just see how business goes. If I can pull the trigger on a little bit bigger machine this year or not, I don't know. See if I can get that to go back down, but we'll see. Well, if I thought I was having a bad day, this dozer in United Rentals is having a much worse day, because you guys can see this is beach sand, and this come off this dozer. And the story with this dozer is it got caught on the beach at high tide and got swamped and locked up, the engine locked up. So yeah, that dozer don't look like it's got a whole lot. I mean, she's a little rusty, the undercarriage is, but she don't look like she's had a whole lot of hours on her for sure. But apparently she is locked up, and they had to crane her. I think they had to crane her out off the beach, wherever she was. So my little undercarriage problems are small potatoes compared to the problems of this 700L. It's just sad because it's a nice dozer. I don't know. That was the story I was given. I don't know if that's correct. And sometimes these United Rentals, United sells off their equipment, so they may not even be the owner. I don't know. But I hope insurance covers that. But that's, yeah, that's really crappy. Good Saturday morning, everybody. It is cold. It is windy. It's a Saturday. It rained last night. It is the perfect storm of all kinds of things to not really be fun to be outside today, but we've got work to do, and finally got the skid steer back, and we've got a project to do. So let's take a look at what we got, and then we're gonna hop to it. All right, got the old skid steer back, at the Mtl brush cutter on it. Got you guys saw my video, had to get 2 new wheel bearings in here and a new axle on this whole front thing. So the outer one was on its way out too, so we put a new outer one on, put a couple of new front wheels on. So that's all looking good and ready to go. Just got everything greased, and we are back on the no man's land lot. I got to get all this mowed. So it's winter mowing. We typically do around either like right around between Christmas and New Year's, or right after New Year's. So it's ready to be mowed again. This isn't too bad. It's really not that bad. In the summer, when I mow it in the summer, it's typically really bad. It's mostly just some broom straw. Most of it's dead. It's a lot of broom straw and some weeds and stuff. No big deal, but it does need to be knocked down and mowed. So I'm gonna hop in the skid steer. We'll get some in cab, some out of cab, some time lapse. We're gonna have some fun today, but we got to get it mowed. So let's get it going. left a comment recently. They wanted a little in-cab commentary on one of my next videos, so here we go. I just ate a little lunch, which consisted of a protein bar. We'll crank her back up here. Let her spin up. And we're gonna get to moving. We're probably about halfway done. I'm gonna just move the camera just a hair here. There we go. And I'm trying to make this line as straight as possible, if I can. This mowing line. Trying to. And this has gone really well today. The hawks are having a field day. There's one, you guys can't see him, but there's one in that tree right there at the very, very tip top. He's sitting up in there just looking and waiting and watching. I've seen 2 hawks today already grab a mouse. I don't know if it was the same hawk or if it was 2 different ones. I think it was 2 different ones. But I've seen 2 mice get snatched today by the hawks. Somebody's mowed this edge right here. I don't know, I guess it must have been the city, because I have had to keep that edge mowed with the mini, with the mulcher. I usually come over here about once a year and mow that edge down, but somebody's mowed it recently. I guess maybe the city. I've never seen them do that before. We've always maintained it, and this is one of the first accounts I ever got when Kelly and me and my dad went into business. This was like one of our first accounts, and I've never seen the city or anybody else ever mow that embankment right there. It's always been our responsibility to keep it cleaned up, and so if they came and mowed it, that's a first in like 6 or 7 years. Because we were mowing, my dad was bush hogging this lot for about a year or 2 before, you know, it's like a side project before we actually officially went into business. So I don't know what made them change their mind on that. But it's not hurting my feelings none. Sticking up. It's really easy to cut, but golly, it makes a mess. Those little fuzzies just, I guess they're like the seedlings or whatever off the broom straw. They just, you mow this stuff down and it just makes a mess. I hate it. At least it mows easy, but it just makes a mess of everything. It gets all into the air filter, gets into the back of the machine, just makes a mess. But this is mowing down pretty easily. I'm only running about 2,400 RPM by turning the RPMs down just a little bit, trying to be a little more fuel efficient. But she's going right through it, no problem. No problem. So machine is just a dream to mow with. It's just so smooth. These tracks are just so smooth. If you're out there and you run skid steers for a living and you've never driven one of these ASVs, man, they're so smooth to ride in. So smooth. Especially when you're doing this bush hogging work and you're just driving, like, you know, just going in one direction. Man, a normal skid steer that's got like a traditional solid frame undercarriage will just beat you up doing this kind of work. But this ASV just floats, man. It's so, that torsion suspension with those bogey wheels underneath this thing, it just floats. It's so smooth, it's so comfortable. Like even going over those roots right there off the side of that tree, it's just floats, just smooth. Oh, there goes the rabbit. There goes the first rabbit I've seen today. You better run, he's gonna get snatched by a hawk if he ain't careful. Decent amount of rain. We probably got a ½ inch of rain last night, or at least yesterday afternoon, late in the afternoon, 6, 7, 8 o'clock. We probably got a ½ inch of rain, and it's pretty dry out here today. It's been windy, so the wind really helped, I think, dry up any. It's been sunny and windy, so I think that really helped dry up any water that was on the grass itself. But the ground itself is not too wet either, which is really nice. This lot doesn't hold much water. I've never really had any issues with water in this lot, which is nice. But it's definitely chilly and windy out here today. Chilly and windy. Done and then go home and watch some playoff football, I guess. The Chiefs are playing the Dolphins. Yeah, it's Chiefs-Dolphins tonight, and that is supposed to be a cold game. It's gonna be like -5 or something like that. It's gonna be cold. Something like that. It's going to be very cold. And it's supposed to be windy too, so I think the wind chill is going to be like -20 or something. I saw. I don't know. It's going to be super cold for that game. It's like one of the coldest games in NFL history. So they can have fun with that. maple. Part of it looks like it's falling off the top there. I'm gonna have to move that out of the way here in a minute. See it right there laying on the ground. This lot has got some of the big trees in this lot are just, they're jacked up. They're on their way out. They really need to be taken down. All of them are half dead or half rotted, or the tops are falling out of them, or whatever. So, okay, well, we're getting close here. Not too much further left to go, so we'll check in at the end of the job and see what it looks like. Everybody, we are done. It is still really windy. I thought that wind was going to die down as the day went on, but it really has not died down at all. But all this is done. It looks good. I cleaned up that little corner that I couldn't get with the zero turn mower when we did that lot over there. And I'm just letting the machine cool down for a minute. I'm gonna crack it open. I'm gonna get the blower out. We're gonna clean all this off and clean her up. She's a bit of a mess from some of that low hanging branches and stuff. Oh goodness. The back end's probably full of those little fuzzies off the broom straw. But I want to show you guys something really quick. So in the summertime, when this lot gets really green and the weeds get super tall, they get up to like 3 feet in here. Sometimes it gets really thick in here, and for that you really do need like that high flow brush cutter like the Mtl Xct in here. That just goes through that stuff really quick. But in the winter time, most of this stuff like this broom straw, it's really dry. This is a really dry material. Most of that what is in here is this broom straw. It's really dry. So if the grass itself is not holding a lot of moisture in it, you don't really need a lot of power typically to cut it down. Now in the summertime, this stuff gets really green, and this grass holds a lot of moisture in the grass itself, inside the actual blades of the grass. So when you come through and cut it, you're releasing a lot of that moisture, and it gets really thick and gummy, and you really need a lot of power to cut that. With this, you know, in the wintertime, this low flow, so I'm running this on the low flow circuit. So this thing has 2 circuits, has the high flow for the mulcher, and then this is your low flow for like this small brush cutter, bush hog, or a Harley rake, or a grapple, something that doesn't need a lot of flow. And I'll show you really quick what's so great about that is, I know the door's open. So and this job took right at 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours. I burnt just under a 1/4 tank of fuel. Now if I was mulching, and I was running this at 2,400 RPM. So I was running at 2,400 RPM. The max is like almost 2,700. So I wasn't running the throttle all the way open, and I was running off the low flow circuit. So if I had been running this thing wide open on the high flow, we'd be somewhere down here. We'd probably be at around a quarter tank after 3.5 hours, somewhere in that ballpark. So not only do I put a lot less stress on the machine, I burn a lot less fuel, and I still get the same result. So I could have brought the mega mower in here and run the high flow, and that would have done great, would have done fine, but I would have had to run the machine pretty much wide open and burn a lot more fuel and been a lot harder on the engine and the hydraulics and so and so and so. So I really like having this low flow brush cutter in my arsenal for doing these small little bush hogging jobs like this, because it's just so much easier on the machine. It's a lot more fuel efficient. So that worked out really well today. For 3.5 hours, only burning a quarter tank of fuel, not too bad. That's probably about 8 gallons or so, somewhere in that ballpark, 7-8 gallons. So for 3.5 hours on a 120 horsepower machine, that's not bad. So let me get this thing cleaned up. It's Saturday. I'm ready to go home. It's cold and windy, so I'm gonna let this thing cool down for a couple minutes, grab the blower, and we'll get out of here. So more stuff to come, and hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll check you guys later. Bye, everybody.